All right, so this is question 13, and it's probably one of the more confusing questions on this practice test, right? So to begin, we have an interface, we have an abstract class, a regular class that inherits from this abstract class, and this abstract class inherits from this interface, and then we have a driver class, right? So let's go ahead and look at the interface, right? So what are interfaces again? They're abstract classes where every single one of the methods inside of the interface must be implemented by any subclass that decides to inherit from the interface, right? So let's go ahead and look at this code and see who does inherit from this interface, right? So it looks like vehicle inherits from the interface. Okay, so you would expect vehicle to also have this public void doing something method because that in an interface it's expected that the interface's children or the interface's subclasses, right, would have that method. But here's the thing: vehicle is an abstract class, right? So because it's an abstract class, and because this abstract class has a subclass, right? So one, it's abstract. Two, it has a child. Because it does that, it has the option to actually give that sort of deal, or like the interface is making a deal with all of its children, right? That deal is if you implement me, you have to have my methods, right? So what this abstract class is allowed to do because it has a child it's kind of allowed to say, hey, instead of me implementing this, I'm actually going to give that task to my children, right? It's going to be their job to inherit, or I guess to implement the public void doing something with no parameters method, right? And evidently enough, right, we see that same method here, right? So instead of this class, which directly inherits from this interface, implementing this method, it kind of passed on that task to its child, which is perfectly allowed, just a little confusing is all, right? So then, say I were to call the doing something method like within vehicle, or I guess like from a vehicle standpoint. So like I have a vehicle reference, and I'm calling doing something, right? I would go ahead and look for the vehicle method within, or I guess not the doing something method within the vehicle class, right? And I wouldn't find it. But you shouldn't give up that early though, right? Because doing something was technically an inherited method from the interface, right? But after a class chose to not implement it. So don't give up, go to the children of the abstract class and go look for it. We're gonna touch on this later, like we have to, right? It's the last line of code, but just note that, right? So we're in main now. We have a vehicle reference named VB. So this is the vehicle VB, and it is being assigned to a boat, right? This is our boat object. Okay. Now let's go see if the boat has any constructors, right? It looks like it's just the default Java constructor. Same thing goes for the abstract class, right? Or vehicle, right? So really nothing to worry about there. We just declared our boat, right? And it's from the perspective of a vehicle reference. So now we're going to do system.out print VB, right? So remember what this is. It's a boat, but it's from that vehicle perspective. So I want to go ahead and look at my vehicle first to see if toString has been overloaded or overridden, really. And then I want to go to my boat to see if it's been overridden a second time, right? So if it's just in vehicle and not in boat, then I'll choose the vehicle method. If it's in vehicle and it's in boat, then I will choose that method. And yeah, so let's go look for it, right? So we're in vehicle first, and we do see that the toString method is here, right? So we might use this, but let's also go ahead and check the boat, right? Let's check the boat to see if it also has a toString method, because if it does have that method, I want to use the updated one, the subclasses toString rather than the parents or parent. Yeah. So we have a toString method here, right? So this is like the most recent toString or the current toString or the subclasses toString, right? It's the overwritten toString that we're going to use, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a boat, right? And what can this vehicle reference see? It can see all the methods within vehicle and the one that it inherited, and it can see the methods that boat has overridden that were priorly, or I guess like prior to existing in the vehicle class. So toString existed in the vehicle class. We saw that toString was overwritten in boat, so we're going to use this one. What are we going to do? We're going to print out boat 4. All right, yeah. So here's the confusing part again, right? We got VB dot doing something with no parameters. So typically, you would go to the vehicle class and you would realize that it's not there. But remember, right? This this vehicle class is sort of inheriting from this this interface. And this interface gave this class a task, right? It said, if you're going to inherit me, then you need to inherit, or I guess implement my methods, right? But this vehicle class, this abstract class, said, no, I'm good. I'm going to pass that task on to my children, right? Or I guess to my child, right? So it's strange, but even though it doesn't exist here, like no code exists for it here or here, right? Really, only the prototype exists here. We go to the subclass anyways because this abstract class kind of told us I don't actually have the code for this required method. I gave it to boat, right? So we're actually going to go to boat's doing something method and print out boating, right? Okay, so this is our expected output, right? Boat for boating. And yeah, it looks like that is the choice that you would pick. All right. I hope that wasn't too confusing, and I hope it helped.